So congratulations, you made it to the point where you've secured an interview with a potential employer. So now that you've secured an interview, what do you need to do? Well, there are some things to keep in mind. The first thing is, if you made it to the interview, the employer pretty much knows that you have the capability to do the job as well as the skill set. So the interview is just a formality to determine if you're a good fit in terms of your personality type for the rest of the team. This is why during the interview you should make sure as much as possible to really show glimpses of your character and your management skill. So let's walk through what that looks like. The first thing, you want to make sure that you've done your research on both the company and the position. This is another good way to use LinkedIn and see people who've done the position before. See if they have any videos up. Read their job description. Look at their accomplishments and see what will be expected of you. This will be a good way to align what you hope to do at that company and why you're qualified to do so. The next thing, at the interview, most people want to see that you're a visionary and that you have a sense of foresight. For that reason, it would be good if you could put together at least a 1-month strategic plan as to what type of goals you hope to fulfill in that role within 1 month. So make sure that those goals are reasonable, they're tangible, and there are resources in place to help you make those goals. The next thing you want to do is show how that company aligns with your personal value or your moral compass. For example, if you're interviewing with Chick-fil-A, we all know that Chick-fil-A is founded upon Christian principles. If you grew up in the church or if you're a preacher's kid, this would be a good time to talk about the value set of how spirituality grounds you and keeps you focused on your ultimate career ambition. So make sure before you go into the interview that you do a thorough review of your resume. Your resume is the only source that the interviewers will have. So make sure that you go over everything that you have on your resume and your previous accomplishments. Now, when you get inside the interview, instead of harping and expounding upon adjectives that describe your skill set and your prior accomplishments, make sure that you're actually outlining what those prior accomplishments were in terms of actual scenarios and examples of the workplace and within your civic engagement. Make sure also, and this is one of the biggest faults of people doing the interview, that you have questions for the employer as well. Oftentimes, people assume that the interview is just about the employer questioning you. You want to make sure, just like they are, that this position and this job will be an exceptionally good fit for you as well. So make sure that you ask non-obvious questions. For example, what skills they're looking for. Maybe what were some mishaps of previous people in the role. Maybe what would make a good colleague within the workforce. So make sure that you have an equal amount of questions for the interviewer as well. Make sure before the interview that you practice beforehand. It's best to practice with a peer, someone in the field, and also go back to your career services. Sometimes career services have mock interview tools that you can use virtually to practice for the interview. This will allow you to anticipate what industry specific questions that you may need to have an answer for. Also, you'll have an opportunity to review these videos and look at your body language. Eliminate any type of fillers that you're using a lot, such as like, etc. So make sure that you practice extensively before the interview, but not so much to the point where you come off robotic on the actual day of the interview. Lastly, make sure that you have great follow-up with all of the people who were in your interview. So you want to make sure that you receive everyone's business card and you follow up within a 24 to 48 hour time span. Within the follow-up, you want to thank the interviewers for their time, reiterate your passion and your interest in the position, and shortly tell why you would be a good candidate for the position. The follow-up email to your interview should be no more than 2 paragraphs. It is also a best practice to follow up via email as well as a handwritten note. The novelty of thank you notes is really lost in modern day society, so sending that handwritten note adds an extra oomph to your candidacy.